customer, and because she got great results, she started looking at this as a business opportunity. Despite her hectic work life, she works long hours and she works different hours as well. She still has customers and members. She helps. She finds time to help. So she's building her business one customer at a time, using the 15-10-5-1 plan. She's always smiling, and I see that she's always willing to help when there's help needed. So over to Bronwyn.
Thank you, Marge, for that awesome introduction. So guys, thank you very, very much. I'm really excited about sharing my I've really enjoyed this book so far, and I really want to implement every single thing that I'm learning from this book. So, like I was saying, just by preparing and sharing my thoughts, I've already learned so much, and I've been able to ingrain a lot of those from the chapters into my life. So, Bia, if you can please go on to the next slide.
Just on a quick note, if you don't just listen, if you do other things next to the presentation, we can hear it. So then rather go on mute. But better is actually to be 100% focused and don't do anything else.
Okay. Okay, to sustain the introduction to this chapter is really to help everybody to sustain a positive trajectory towards their goal. Obviously, they need to understand and govern the influences that we're going to discuss in the chapters, so that they rather support your journey rather than derail your journey towards success. What I loved about this chapter is that the brain is really impressionable and susceptible to anything that you offer it. And this chapter is going to help us to be selective with our associates, with our environment, what we listen to and what we accept, and then what we act on accordingly in our lives. So the three different influences that we are all faced with is the input, what you feed your mind, the associations, the people with whom you spend time, and then our environment, which is often our surroundings. Bia, you can go on to the next one. So just as with our bodies, it's garbage in and garbage out, but we need to be extra vigilant with what we feed the brain. So just as we would focus on not avoiding tempting junk food and only giving our body the highest quality nutrients if we want to run at peak performance, we have to be extra vigilant with our brains, because this is actually something I never in a million years thought about. Our brain is not designed to make us happy. It's actually focused on survival. So if you actually just think about all the negative things out there, the fires that are happening now, the terrorist attacks, the petrol's gone up, food has gone up. There's just so many negative things out there that our brain is actually programmed from birth to actually focus on those negative things to help us to avoid them so that we can survive. But yes, we can obviously make be quite vigilant in that we can protect and feed our mind the right thing in order for us to resist those attacks. So the second illustration is don't drink dirty water. So this illustration is just like an empty glass. Will hold anything that you put into it. So if you put dirty water like sensational news, negativity, gossip, and those kind of things into your glass, this is what your whole entire life will be filtered through, that muddiness in the glass. And until you actually clear that water by running, the faucet into it, that actually would be then your positive, inspirational, and supportive ideas, the positive messages that we fill our mind with, the personal development, and motivation that we fill our minds with. So the idea is to create more abundance, to grow, expand, and become more. And this would then be the clear water by now filling that glass with those kind of positive things. And this is how that water, that glass can become clear again. And that is, of course, what we want to drink. And he makes a good example here. The kind of things that he also looks at is like listening to personal development CDs. And this definitely gives him an edge over anybody that's waking up in the morning, first thing, and going onto their Facebook feed and just seeing, oh, the celebrity has died or this person has died. And then the whole day is filled with that, because your mind is now going to be filled with the fires or anything negative that is going on around you. So rather than first switching on the TV, that is why this great routine that we've already learned about in this, and many of us have already implemented, of doing that personal development first thing in the morning rather than watching news, etc. It definitely gives us the edge on anybody else that's doing the exact opposite. So how can we do this? Next slide, please, Pia. We need to stand guard. And two ways that we can do that is by putting ourselves on a media diet. And then using our own personal junk filter. Now, these are all Darren Hardy's terminology that he uses, which I find is so perfectly timed for us today, because you can so easily go onto social media and 3 to 4 hours have gone by just by browsing. And then you click on something, and then there's another article, and we become constantly bombarded by ads throughout the day. And if we actually think about just the evening news that you watch, there's just bad news. So why even bother to watch that? Because that is then what stays in your mind. So I like one thing that he said here, that the media actually preys on our psychology, our fears, our pain. So how can you actually achieve anything or create media amazing results within yourself if you're constantly being told that you're not enough, or you're not good enough, or you need this to be good enough, or you need to drive this car? How can we possibly do that? So again, the media thrives on taking us hostage. It's up to us to therefore limit the media. If you actually think about it in a day, there's so much bad news, but in that same 24-hour period, there's so many amazing, wonderful things that have happened. And if we put those things into our minds, our entire view of the world will change. And that is what the filter would then be that we are using. So the personal junk filter is something that I've tried to implement in my life. I've unsubscribed to every single newsletter that I used to get into my inbox, from online shopping, which I'm a big fan of, to all the newsletters, I've limited myself to Facebook and Instagram and those kind of things in the morning and in the evening only, unless I know that I'm going to have potential responses to my ads. I just make sure that I can see the notifications as they come in. So this is something that I've actually made a point of not listening to any news, not on the radio, and I'd rather have somebody else tell me, or be the last one to know about that. So it's something that I've actually worked on since the beginning of this year, so that I can totally focus and have positive thoughts in my mind. Another thing that Darren has also done is he talks about this Drive Time University. He actually calls it Drive Time U. I've just added the university part because I thought it was quite brilliant. If we think of people, everybody that we know somewhere, and especially our morning drive time, our afternoon drive time, there's so much better things than news that you can listen to, or just general music that you can listen to, is if you put educational CDs, or fill up on the good instructional CDs, which can give you information on management, wealth building, relationship excellence. I work in a call center. Music that young people want to listen to, which is not always great. It's rap and hip hop. I've now made a point of putting Jim Rohn on my phone and put my earphones in. That's what I'm listening to throughout the day. And I must say, it's really helped me. Also saves time, because now I'm getting double doses of listening to those positive influences throughout the day. So, and with a personal development reading routine, this can really, of course, help you with your education and the positive things that you're putting into your mind. The next slide, please. The next one, please, Pia.
It's here.
See.
Yes, the next one, please. Can you hear me?
You must see it now. Who's influencing you? This is the next slide I've opened up.
It's not moved yet. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Bia.
No problem.
Okay, so this is definitely something that we've heard a lot over the last few weeks. Jim Rohn, who's a great influencer of Darren Hardy, he refers to him in this particular section of the book. He says that Jim Rohn taught that we become the combined average of the 5 people we hang around the most. So who we spend our time with will determine our conversations, our attitudes, and our opinions. So it's very important that at this stage we actually ask ourselves, what is the combined average income, health, or attitudes of the 5 people that we spend most of our time with? And if the answer frightens us, then we obviously need to make changes. But the interesting thing about this is that, again, it's so powerful because we are not pushed in this direction. It's not a hardcore, oh, you must do this, or you must have this burger, or you must do that. It's all very subtle, without you even realizing it sometimes. You've just floated in that direction, and if somebody should ask you, how did you get there, you actually wouldn't be able to say it. But this is exactly what it is. It's really about those 5 people that, outside of course of your family, that you actively spend the most time with. So the interesting thing here is that if the person's their behavior and attitudes are something which help them acquire the success that you are looking for, then of course you want them to become a part of your daily routine. But of course, if there is a negative influence, then this is the time that we need to reappraise and reprioritize the people that we spend time with and that we allow into our personal space and to influence us. So this is where it comes to 3 things that we may need to do. We need to put our friends or family even, or associates, onto 3 lists. Some that we're going to need to disassociate ourselves from, and that would be people that are negative, that put fear in your heart, who themselves are making poor choices, and who are themselves are displaying a lack of discipline in their lives. So it's exceptionally important that it's not, of course, an easy thing to do. It's probably one of the toughest, but this is definitely, like they say, you've got to make new friends, if that's what it comes down to. So often it's the ones that are closest to us that sometimes can be the most negative influences. Then when it comes to limited associations, this is actually quite interesting. It's puts it very simply for us. It's very powerful again and very subtle. We've got those people that we should only be spending 3 minutes with. Then there's those that we can spend 3 minutes with, but you can't spend 3 hours with. And then there's those that we can maybe spend 3 hours with, but not 3 days. And then you've got those that you potentially spend 3 days with, but not an extended holiday. And this is actually his own words, because this is, for example, it could be your neighbor. You might spend 3 hours with a colleague, in an office, in a meeting, or working together, but you won't spend 3 days with a colleague. So, and then sometimes even in your own family, there are those that you won't spend more than 3 days with. So these are associations that we need to limit, because of potentially their negative influences. Then, of course, on the positive side, there are expanded associations. So these are successful people who want to reach out to those who have the positive qualities and have made those changes in their lives. For example, it may not be somebody directly in your life, but again, Darren speaks about Jim Rohn and how he spent so much time learning from Jim Rohn in person, but then just through the work and his audio programs, he spent, I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost over 1,000 hours with Jim Rohn. So it doesn't necessarily have to be someone that we're actually spending time with, but by exposing ourselves to these personal development videos or CDs, we're also associating with the right people. Then, of course, our networking and our training, and there's many opportunities within our line of work, of course. At our trainings, at our network meetings, we get very, very good feedback and advice on how to, to live a positive life. It's not just about the business, but actually improving us as people. So people that we need to become in order to be successful. Right. The next one, please, Bea. Okay, then further on regarding associations, Darren also speaks about finding a peak performance partner. And this would be someone that has a similar commitment to studying and personal growth that you have. So find someone like that who can be an accountability partner. We often speak about that, but this is again, once again, whether it's with our eating, whether it's with our personal development, whether it's in our business. He talks about having a friend that he was he had as an accountability partner, who often would give him an unbiased, honest, outside perspective, to the point that he would call him out if he sort of didn't have that aha moment that he was supposed to have. This again could be someone like your upline. It could be your actual coach. It could be a sideline person. It could even be a downline that you could have as your accountability partner. Then invest in mentorship. This is another heading that he has in this chapter. Again, it would be someone that's of a higher level, someone that's already achieved the goals that you are looking to achieve. And most successful people, he mentions, has mentors. And this is really to expand yourself. And again, what I like about this is that very often we might have a mentor, but we can also be a mentor to someone else. And he goes on to say that mentoring is your true legacy. It's the greatest inheritance you can give to others, and it should never end. It is why you get up every day, to teach and to be taught. And this is actually something that really stayed with me as well. And this doesn't have to be a expensive exercise. It doesn't have to be a complicated exercise. There are many people out there who would give you a little bit of their time and actually feel flattered that you are choosing them as a mentor, as long as it's, of course, it can be in short bursts, it can be in an email, it can be on WhatsApp. It doesn't have to be necessarily face-to-face, but find somebody that you can trust and that has obviously reached the level that you want to achieve. And then the next one, which is also very similar to mentorship, is Darren speaks about developing your own personal board of advisors. And of course, these are the people that you want to seek out. Like if somebody's great at shake parties, or somebody's great at doing evaluations, or someone's great at creating members or developing members, these are the kind of things that you can actually have different people that you can speak to. Somebody who's great at the breakfast presentation, or doing the 6-day trial and how they interact with their clients. This would be how you gather the people around you. And it's a give and take once again. those who have the expertise, the creativity, who you respect, and of course, who always exude positivity, because as Darren says, you never want to ask advice of someone with whom you wouldn't want to trade places. Well, that's also something that I really thought that was interesting. Thank you, Bia. You can change. Okay. So the third aspect of this chapter of influences is, of course, our environment. Now, many of us may find ourselves currently in an environment that we are not 100% happy yet, or it's not 100% conducive to our goals. But then we need to get out of our current environment. If we don't like where we are at the moment, we must change it. This is what he goes on to say quite strongly. And if we look at some of the things that he had to do, he used to expand his associations. He went to another part of town, and he saw this house that he wanted, and this helped him really to sort of expand on his goals and on his dreams. And this is something that we should also do, is to step out of our comfort zone. Another thing that he speaks about is the clutter in our lives. So yes, definitely can be a hindrance to moving forward, can be the cause of procrastination, is if we don't clear out the clutter. And this can be a mental or psychic clutter. There may be things weighing on our minds like, oh, I forgot to do this, oh, I haven't done that yet, or I'm not ready yet, I don't have all the tools that I need, or I haven't achieved everything that I need to yet. But he says, clear out that clutter, because that is it's sucking the energy of accomplishment and success out of you as surely as a vampire that is stealing your blood. So that also got me. So yes, this is the kind of stuff that can block your momentum. So you definitely want to do both physically as well as mentally, get rid of the clutter. And then again, something that I think we've recently spoken about is that you get in life what you tolerate. And this is very interesting because especially within your relationships with friends and with family, sometimes, you basically, if you tolerate disrespect, then disrespect will come your way. If people are constantly late and make you wait, and if you tolerate it, it will keep happening. So if you put it another way, you will get in life what you accept you will get in life what you accept and expect you are worthy of. So you want to ensure that your environment is welcoming and supportive, to foster a disciplined routine of rhythms and consistency. So this is again, the rhythms and consistency would be, of course, referring to Big Mo, inviting that momentum into your life, because life will organize itself around the standards that you set for yourself. So we have total control of what happens in our lives. The next one, please, Pia. So just on a implementation strategy that I set for myself, based on this chapter, is to sensational radio, TV news programs, gossip. What I rather do is choose a few programs that I want to watch and rather put it on the PVR and just come and watch that for maybe 1 hour or so, sometime on the weekend. Like I said, limit social media to 1 hour a day in the morning and in the evening. Very, very difficult to do, but it's something that is a constant, thing that you need to work on. Then I mentioned about the 0Bronwyn personal development that I'm listening to. It's really something that I would encourage everybody to do. And then something I specifically want to work on also is to stay connected, always be on the calls, on the training, and on the focus groups, because this is really the association I want to increase in my life. Then get rid of distractions. If it doesn't feed your goals, then don't do it. A mantra that I have for myself. We all have the same 24 hours. We need to do what the successful people are doing. So thank you very much. That is all from my side.
Absolutely brilliant, Bronwyn. I just open up all the others. Wait with the applause. I must unmute everybody now. You can give applause. Yay.
Great job, Bronwyn.
Thank you.
Good job.
Awesome, Bronwyn. Thank you. Well done. Thank you.
Thank
Sure.
you, dear.
Very impressive.
I mean, you put a lot of effort into it, and I think the one who trains always get the most out of it. But obviously, we are all on the same chapter, or should have read it recently. It would be interesting to hear from all of you. What did you get? What did you decide in your life to take a little bit differently, or do a little bit differently? Did you discover something which is related to this chapter 5?
Can I go, Bia?
Yes, Liesl?
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I actually have implemented a lot of the stuff that that Bronwyn referred to on this last slide in terms of her strategy, because I realized how much time I spent on social media. And if one really looks at how social media tracks your behavior and looks at things that you like and gives you more of that, that's what hooks you and keeps you going, because then suddenly something else appears in your newsfeed, or an article appears in your newsfeed, and you think, oh, I'm actually interested in this. Yes, something else that I can look at. And it becomes this vicious circle of things that you do over and over again. And when you find yourself, you're 4 hours later running around between Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and who knows what else that you're using. But those are great tools to use for your business and to show people what it is that you do and what you're about. But one really, really must limit your time on it. So I've pretty much implemented the same strategy as what Bronwyn has. There's an hour that I spend, not even an hour, I think it's about half an hour, sorry, in the mornings, that I spend doing specific posts, and same goes in the evening. And I also just track my notifications when I've got ads that are running to make sure that I don't miss people that may have responded, as what happened today with the post that I had on Instagram. I had a nice little conversation happening there with some people that are now starting on the 6-day breakfast challenge. Sorry. But something else that I implemented as well, I've always realized how important it is to, or I've known how important it is that one should journal on a daily basis. And especially when one is working on improving yourself and getting yourself on the right track, I think one needs to sort of clear your head at the end of each day and reflect on what has happened, reflect on what is done. And I just haven't been able to really commit myself to write things down in a journal. I get lazy when it comes to writing. I'm so used to typing, but I didn't want to do something on a PC. So what I decided to do is to do a video journal. So I've got a daily video journal running. I probably spend between 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I think the longest video I recorded was 12 minutes. And for me, it's nice. It flows nicely. I just get out what I want to get out and comment on things. It's like this discussion that I have with myself on my PC, which is pretty awesome. But I've actually been really consistent with it. And it's amazing what you learn about yourself when you do that, what your thoughts are, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, and how certain things affect you and how they influence you, where before I wouldn't think twice, but you might carry stuff around for days that are impacting you negatively. I've also stopped listening to music in my car. I've got Jim Rohn on my cell phone. And if anyone is interested, I got hold of a CD with Herbert Yero's personal development on it. There's people like Garen Jones, Style Bell. I see him's putting his hand up. I'll organize it. I'll see if I can get it onto Dropbox for you guys. It's pretty nice little personal development snippets. And then I got hold of a disc as well with training from Dennis Dowdell as well. I haven't really started with that yet, but I also loaded that on my phone. So, oh my goodness, my phone is Siri activated herself and she's busy repeating everything I'm saying. Sorry, this looks so weird. Okay, distractions. Sorry. The source of my phone is typing on its own and it's sitting recording everything I'm saying. Okay, so I've focused on the personal development stuff as well. And then just the last note that I want to make. Sorry, Bronwyn, I made lots of notes while you were talking.
Yeah.
Focusing on the cleaning out the clutter. There's a book that I got as a gift for my birthday. It's called Essentialism. The author is Greg McEwen. If you guys find that you're flipping busy all the time and you're not getting anything done, but you're exhausted at the end of the day because you're constantly busy all the time and you don't know where to start to declutter, this is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant book. I've implemented a heck of a lot of stuff in that book. And I must say, just from doing that, I'm a much happier person. Things are flowing a bit better in my business and in my life. So I'm quite excited about that. Thanks, Bea, after that long story.
Thanks, Lisa.
You could maybe send later on a photo of the book with the author on the group, then everybody can,
sure.
If they want to have the book, need the book. Probably that's the book we want to use as the next thing in our focus group, because basically we have one more chapter to go and then it's already the summary. And our focus group is still going strong, so that might be a recommendation when I listen to you, Lisa, which might everybody agree to read as the next one. But quickly before I finish off, around what are other thoughts, what have you changed, or is it just that you agree with what you have heard right now? Did you make already any changes, implementation? Because I mean, to read the compound effect is one thing. To talk about it every week is another thing, or probably being not on the same chapter. Maybe you're behind, I don't know. But more important is basically what do you put into action? What do you get out of it? Is it just something you consume like you consume TV or radio or listen to Jim Rohn, but it's more on the side than really actively listening? Or is it actively that you get something out of the pages you read and say, okay, this is basically what I need to focus on, this is what I need to change. So if there's anything more besides what Bronwyn and Lisa are sharing now, just come up with this. This is a focus group, so we should be all actively involved and basically not mute ourselves to get there some stuff out of it. The more you talk basically about what have you changed, what do you plan to change, you commit yourself to, the more you get basically for yourself out of it. Not just what you think, it's more important basically to bring it verbally across, because then you are more clear about what you aim for.
As the creator and chief programmer.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I never realized how powerful a book can influence you when you're really into it. Was with the time when I wanted to quit smoking, and I read the book from Alan Carr, which is The Easy Way to Stop Smoking. I don't love reading books. I'm not that type of person, but I honestly can say to anybody that hasn't taken up a book and read through it and try and implement the things that's in there in your day-to-day business, it's really losing out, because it is absolutely powerful how these things can change your life. And for instance, with this compound effect, I'm a little bit behind with this implementation as we stand here, but I'm still busy with, I've learned very, very soon through this that you cannot stop yourself from a habit, but you can learn new habits. And sooner or later, there's no time left for the old habits when you implement the new habits. I hope that makes some sense. So if you have any bad habits, just create some new ones to take the place of the bad ones. And that's all from me.
Very important. Just let that sentence, what Ria said just now, sink in. There's so much truth in it. Absolutely brilliant, Ria. Good point. Anybody else?
nothing to add.
Okay, then I don't want to stress about it. I mean, we have the focus group active, and I think it would be great during the week when we read and something comes to your mind or something where you discovered, oh wow, I changed now this habit, I replaced it by that habit, and this is how it works now. Let's inspire each other also throughout the week regarding now these implementations, because I think even when one of us says, oh, I implemented now that, or I changed that in my habits, I did that differently, that it inspires somebody else to give it also a thought, to not to become too busy in our lives and forget completely about the personal development, and only because we have now the focus group coming up, and you're the one who has to do the talk tonight, basically prepare yourself, and the others are just nice listening and then go to bed, and that was it. So it should be basically where we grow week by week by week. And I must say, those who were already actively involved with doing a talk on the focus group or doing a training on Monday evening for our members, and also to be involved at the quick start, doing the quick start on Sunday evening. These are also us basically from the focus group. Those who already put up their hand and say, I do it, I can see a huge, major growth. So the moment you start to teach, the moment you start to contribute, this is the moment where you start to grow. As tough as it is, March, I know it's tough on you. It was tough on you, and it was tough on Bronwyn, and each one of you, I know that exactly. But you get the most out of it. The moment what you do, what you feel the most, this is when you get the most out of it. The moment you have the feeling you fail and you do it, no matter what, this is where you get the most out of it. And that brings me basically to arranging our next week also, where we have the quick start coming up on Sunday. So who is going to do the quick start on Sunday? It's now like in school, everybody looks somewhere different.
The time just doesn't work for me, unfortunately.
It's the same time, I know it's church for you, yeah, I remember. Okay, we had the last time Ria. How about Cheryl? Cheryl?
Yes, Pia. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Was that a yes?
Yes, Pia.
Yay, Cheryl!
Woo! Excellent. Perfect. Then I have a note on my ideas for our members call. How do you feel about how to make a shake party to have the next week?
Sounds good.
Stuff. So who want to do the shake party?
Okay, I'll do that, Pia.
Okay, Ria gets it. Perfect, thank you. And then we have the focus group with the chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
I'll take it, Bea.
Okay, Liesl. Perfect. Then we are sorted for next week. And then it's already time to think about a new book. So maybe have a look a little bit when Lisa sent us the book title and the author. Maybe read up on it on the internet so that we can make an informed decision next week if you want to continue with the Essentialist. A big thank you to our speakers for tonight, starting with Ria, who did on Sunday the quick start. We have full house there, 10 people who are really get inspired. And Ria flew through the quick start now like I never heard her before. So well done to Ria. Big thank you to Hasim, how to talk to people when they wear the badge, when you wear the badge. Brilliant, well done. And then obviously our focus group today was like the cherry on top of the cream. So thank you very much to Bronwyn to put everything together, to be really focused in this week and really giving us, even with the implementation strategy, what she put out for herself, a couple of ideas if we have thought about it. So to all of you, thank you for our commitment. Let's refocus also. Don't forget about your goals. Have a look at your goals, which you put out a couple of weeks ago when we started with the focus group. And please send me a message today. What is your goal? If you still stay with the same goal, maybe your goal is bigger in the meantime because you achieved a couple of things already of it, or if you have other thoughts. So just let me know what is your goal. I just want to know from each one of you your goal, because I want to know if you just said it a couple of weeks ago or if it's really still clear on your mind. And I hope that it's still clear on your mind and actually getting more and more crisp. So thank you very much. Let's be focused this week. Have an awesome week. And
Thank you, Bea.
your commitment and contribution. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Good night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.